Every year, every major festival, especially on Tet holiday, there are a lot of special people in the country as well as abroad looking for somewhere to travel, rest, enjoy the fun days and experience the victories. In that spirit, we would like to introduce to you the beautiful scenery of Vietnam's homeland, and in that spirit, we would like to introduce to you a number of places from the south to the central region and to the north of Vietnam, Asia. On the way, the audience when one comes to Can Tho City of Vietnam, one disc no one can't reach is Ninh Kieu Wharf. Dear ladies and gentlemen, it is often said that if you have to go to Ninh Kieu Wharf, you want to go to Ninh Kieu Wharf. I know I've been to Can Tho. USB finds this Ninh Kieu Wharf is a very ideal place for dates with loved ones, family, friends, as well as to make this couple a place. It can be said that every night from about 5 o'clock in the afternoon until about 12 o'clock at night is very lively and attractive. This is Ninh Kieu Wharf, called Ninh Kieu Park, a typical cultural tourist site of Can Tho City, built into a park with about 7,000 square meters with Le style. The love and convenient location overlooking the Hau River to Ninh Kieu has become a tourist destination, attracting a lot of locals and tourists from all over the world. From Ninh Kieu Wharf can see Can Tho Bridge. The bridge has a long main span, the most beautiful place in Southeast Asia. At the time of 2010, Ninh Kieu Wharf is brought up at night. If you look from the direction of the fishing village, you will look like sparkling pearls hidden under the calm waters of the Hau River to Ninh Kieu Wharf in Can Tho. You can go on a yacht, listen to Dong Thap too. The yacht at Ninh Kieu Wharf is designed with 3 spacious and luxurious floors with a capacity of 600 guests. Restaurant Can Tho Cruise is considered a large floating restaurant with a long history. The best restaurant in Can Tho Yacht Restaurant, sells a variety of dishes and drinks with bold hometown flavor. If you want to visit Can Tho, you will have the opportunity to take a cruise on Ninh Kieu Wharf in the evening. The boats will take you to the Hau River to visit restaurants in the floating market on the riverside to enjoy special dishes and cultural performances of the Mekong Delta region. Is a poetic and peaceful place according to our home. Ninh Kieu Wharf will leave visitors with many unforgettable impressions when arriving in Can Tho City. Poetry of the West. In 2 days to visit Can Tho and Hau Giang, we have enjoyed many comfortable hours when visiting famous tourist areas in the West, especially in Can Tho. Each place visited has a piece. It has its own private police force and has left in the hearts of tourists unforgettable images, so that when parting, their hearts become even more loving towards the Mekong River region. In the journey to the south, we reached the depths of the immense river bed of the Mekong Delta, with landmarks marking the blocks from the southern route of the ancestors to the tourist wharf. We boarded a boat to Thoi Son tourist area and enjoyed the scenery on the Tien River, and he took a boat on the Tien River. Tourists easily recognized the Rach Mieu bridge connecting the 2 provinces of Tien Giang and Tien Giang. Tre We are standing on the banks of the My Tho River in Tien Giang province. This belongs to the Mekong River system, is the common name for the tributaries of the Mekong River in the territory of Vietnam, with 2 tributaries, the Tien and Hau rivers. Cuu Long went through the phones of the western provinces and cities including Dong Thap, Tien Giang, Tre and Giang, Can Tho, Vinh Long, Tre We, Hau Giang and Soc Trang to Thoi Son tourist area. We were able to take a boat through the canals. The boat can carry a maximum of 6 other people, including 1 person holding a 9-hanger and an assistant brother who has not had anything yet. Right now we are traveling in a small boat that can be rowed on the flaps above the Unicorn Islands, where if we go to the west, we will feel that there are many small scams. The length of dozens of kilometers into the forest in the mountains is far away from Cancer. You come to Thoi Son Islet. We have nothing to sit on a leisurely carriage on the zigzag roads under Rach Mieu green, immersing in the air. The majestic space on the butt of the Mekong River countryside in Thoi Son Islet. We got on a big boat and passed Can Tho in the waterway to Confucius boat to the Rach Gam Ko Amut section where the heroes' feats were marked. When Hugh destroyed 50,000 soldiers in 1785 from the past, still known as Tan Vinh Islet. Later there is another name called Dao Coconut Island because Mr. Nguyen Ton Nam came here to build Nam Pagoda. Buddhism established a sect called Coconut Dao in the early 20th century. Visitors can visit the orchards and enjoy the typical dishes of Ben Tre in the west, an interesting land activity. For tourists when visiting the dunes, he personally fished for crocodiles, dozens of crocodiles lying in the lake waiting for him with the talented fishing hands to conquer it, bring what has left the area. But in Ben Tre, we can think of another tourist area. In the vast Pearl countryside, groups of tourists come here often to organize collective games to bond people's feelings, to bring joyful moments in the wilderness and immense rivers in the southern journey. We visited Saigon at the end of the year when the whole city was preparing to welcome the new year, and the city where the French colonial period was designed according to the model of Europe and dubbed the Pearl of Far East Asia. That idea also follows Duc Ham as something like our image. But the one at the Electronics Center in Saigon City a few days ago. But Saigon has a new feature. Apart from that, it's the walking path that Nguyen Hue respectfully writes about. Seeing through these couples is a lot of people. Every night, I have to find out what to say. At 8 p.m. they come out and they walk this person, and now we're going to have to search and get rid of all the storms we need to go around this Nguyen Hue walking path for us to explore together. This is all the scene of Nguyen Hue pedestrian street at night, where other tourists and locals gather to play together in the bustling and crowded Saigon. Visitors can find in Nguyen Hue pedestrian street a mineral space to relax. Walking you in the night. Nguyen Hue Street had a history of more than 130 years. In 1887, during the French rule, the authorities built a large avenue called Xane Boulevard until 1956. The government changed its name. This road became Nguyen Hue Boulevard and was used to this day until the end of the 20th century. This street is still the spring and flower market of the city people every Lunar New Year after a hiatus from Tet Chub. In 2004, Nguyen Hue Flower Market was restored, but with a new look, and from this year, on the occasion of Tet, Nguyen Hue Street has a name. Another is Nguyen Hue Flower Street. In April 2015, Saigon City inaugurated Nguyen Hue Pedestrian Square with a length of 607 with a width of 64 m. By 2019, this area will continue to be designed and built. Rebuilt into a fountain with a circular lake bearing the image of the old Saigon's roundabout. As noted by many residents, the place that attracts the most young people in the city today is probably nowhere near the city. Walking Nguyen Hue every evening, the street attracts hundreds of thirsty people to all the entertainment, singing activities, or outdoor games, most of which are young people, families taking their children out, including foreign tourists. So the atmosphere is cheerful and bustling every evening, especially on weekends and holidays of the year. Here is the panorama of Dalat City at the end of the year in the first half of the world. 20th century. From a desolate place, the French built a beautiful city with villas, offices, hotels, schools, and schools. This is a tourist center and an education center of Indochina. This is a panorama of Dalat Flower Garden located in the northeast of Chien Huang Lake. We are present at the Flower Garden of Dalat City in the last days of the year. So to prepare for an upcoming festival, this area is full of flowers of all kinds and colors. According to local documents, the primordial garden started in 1966 and started construction in 1973, and developed since 1985. With 11 hectares of land, he entered the flower garden of Tho Yacht City in front, behind and everywhere. Visitors can see all flowers to create a space filled with flowers on the road every square inch of land. There is harmony along the two sides of the path. The sprinkler system located on the path along the hillside is a car full of flowers. The flower baskets are also randomly created to create an extraordinary space in this flower garden with over 300 flowers, in which there are hundreds of flowers such as roses, chrysanthemums, gladiolus orchids, hydrangeas, or mimosa flowers. All year round, the flower garden of Tho Yacht City is currently the largest and most complete flower display of Tho Yacht, with hundreds of different flower varieties. It is the convergence of many beautiful flowers of the East and the West. Valley of Love is one of the most poetic landscapes of Tho Yacht, about 5 kilometers north of the city center. In the 1930s, Governor General of Indochina and French Thuan couples took this whole scene for dates. Dating and naming crystal purchased with a total area of up to 140. Love Valley is a great address for tourists who choose to be a weekend camping place. In addition to the Valley of Love, visitors can riding a horse, riding a bicycle to Vietnam by jeep or by ancient train is noted by tourists in the university's Love Valley and fascinated by the deep valleys and green pine hills year-round. Walk or climb 100, go through the flower gates with vibrant colors to go up the hill. Vong Can in the Valley of Love is an ideal and attractive ecotourism site that has become familiar to tourists near and far. The Valley of Love is beautiful and attractive by its deep root valley with Caoba Sang pine hills. De Tien Lake adds charm to the general landscape. Knowing this is a cable car system across the sea Nha Trang, this cable car system can carry from 1,000 to 1,500 people in one, now with all 65 cabins hanging on the system. Each cabin will cross the sea passage under Nha Trang to Han Island in nearly 9 minutes and 20 seconds when sitting on the cable car at an altitude of 54 m. Visitors can admire the beautiful landscapes. Tourist destination is like a paradise to visit. Vin Pearl Land Nha Trang, but visitors feel like coming to an entertainment paradise with thrilling games, modern Tweeko or attractive water music. In addition to Vin Pearl Land and Nha Trang, there is also a Quy Vuong garden that nurtures many very rare animals and birds. Visitors see a beautiful herd of Hong Ha who are receiving water to wade in the water to bask in the sun. The common home of rare and precious species listed in the Red Book, such as the yellow-cheeked gibbon, the silver-faced monkey, Forbango, the leopard, and the peacock. Visitors in Nha Trang. The first thing people often say about a must-go memory is that Vin Pearl is located on an island located in the sea. This is a tourist area that will attract millions of French people to come here every year. Because in the return area, there are many different features. So it has a very large children's game collection with enough games with a different feeling. This is one of the famous amusement parks. Best of all, the guy next to work is always a favorite destination for tourists with a combination of games. Investing in this entertainment area is a convergence of games with a sense of fun that will bring visitors comfortable, relaxing moments with family and friends. Even without this is the place to come. Only at Vin Pearl and Nha Trang. Hope is a beautiful and memorable love while thinking of others, hoping to be told the guests don't return to Nha Trang in the nearest day when he himself started his business to make them healthy and successful. It's a lot of fun. On the recent components is the panorama of Hoi, an ancient town that we filmed on the last full moon of the year. Following the history of Hoi, an ancient town is a fan of the city. The ancient town of Hoi An is often referred to as a phile in the 8th century. Hoi An is a sympathetic and prosperous city of central Vietnam. It is a close-up of the ancient town of Hoi An today. An ancient town attracts a large number of tourists from all over the world to come here to feel the human quintessence of a city in Asia preserved. Hoi An. There are many garment shops with all kinds of fabrics for visitors to choose from. Visitors can order tailoring and receive it right in and out of Hoi An's old town, with the main street access being Tran Phu Street. This is the only giraffe left in Hoi An today with a familiar name, Chua K Bridge. This bridge is about 18 m long, catching a series of small water flowing into the Thursday Bone River. The first people who come into contact with them are the cyclo drivers themselves. The friendliness and closeness of Hoi An in communication, and especially the nature. The honesty of Hoi An cyclo riders is the first image that creates sympathy for tourists. Where can I introduce you to Hoi An in the past few moments, but now we are very limited. Introduce to you Hoi An at night, because at night, Hoi An has a very different color and brings something very called it's beautiful I couldn't believe. And now we invite you to come with me to explore Hoi An at night. Hoi An ancient town at night, again shimmering under the late night lights of the lanterns. Mossy roof tiles and golden walls for the underside of the lights add to the recounting of the old quarter, which seems to exude a mysterious and time-stamped beauty as noted by cultural researchers. A gentle and fanciful picture when Hoi An at night that visitors cannot ignore is the Noi River lying gently and calmly on small thorns drifting gently on the river. Visitors listen to the artist's beat carode playing or releasing flower lights signifies a traditional humanism of Hoi An, that is, on the 1st and 14th of the full moon of the lunar month, the two people will drop flower lights into the river according to folk meaning. Lanterns or flower lights are each lamp that represents a prayer for good health, and this is a prayer for peace, according to our records. This side of the river is a street with rows of ancient Hoi An houses located on the riverside, which is lit by many yellow lights, so it creates a feeling of calm and serenity. Across the river is a somewhat busier street because there are many shops and restaurants to attract more tourists, so the lights in the shops are decorated with all kinds of magical colors. Music here is Bana Hills is one of the scenic spots in Da Nang that tourists cannot ignore when they have the opportunity to visit Bana Hills in Hoa Vang district, located about 25 kilometers west of Da Nang Center and located at an altitude of 1,487 m above sea level. Sea level according to tourism documents on March 25, 2009, Bana Hills Resort put into operation the first 1-second rowing cable system called Moon Spring Cable Car System of the European Cable Car Association. The whole cable car route has 22 posts with 96k tanks of service capacity that can carry 1,500 passengers. Every hour from the departure station to the arrival station is 15 minutes to Bana Hills. We can watch fun and beautiful dance performances in the unspoiled natural setting from the cable car suspended in the middle of the back. The bunch of clouds looking down is a perfect picture full of colors close to the four sides of clouds covered deep chorus between mountains, forests, waterfalls, giving us the feeling of being in the middle of 1,000 and this is a flower garden with a huge area. Is 8206 a square meter flower garden attracts visitors by the pleasant cool climate and a variety of beautiful flowers, especially here, including a small garden with different unique architecture during the journey to visit friends. Witnessed a sudden change in the weather when it turned to rain, the torrential rain of the forest stroking the faces of many tourists from afar. Dear friends, currently we are in Bana Hills, which is the largest entertainment area in Da Nang City. We couldn't have imagined that there would be a very big storm out of the blue, a Category 3 storm. I'm about to overflow. Even though it's such a big storm, the Bana Hill area is still crowded with people. It's busy as usual. Everyone is still happy. Despite having to endure the wind, it's like needing a lot of rain. Learn the history of Bana. We know that in February 1900 the Governor-General of Indochina named Home sent an officer to look at the neighboring mountains between Da Nang and Hue in search of a place to stay. After many visits to the army of the officer discovered that Chua Mountain, which means Bana, has a flat shape, which is very suitable for building a villa here. Not only her climate is very cool area and about 46 kilometers west of Da Nang, so it is very convenient for relaxation and This is the road of An Bao Huang Citadel and Forbidden Purple City. The operation of two connected areas that the Forbidden City itself is located in is completed, so it is often referred to as completed or the Citadel. The construction of this palace system was started for 1,803 bricks under the reign of King Cuu Long that most of the time. The main works have been completed for worship such as the Temple of the Million Ancestors, the Temple of Huang Thao, the Temple of the Huang Nan Palace, and daily there are many tourists from 4 wards visiting the citadel to learn the history of the completion of the Nguyen dynasty. The citadel's architectural system includes many palaces that have witnessed many of the last dynasties of the monarchy in Vietnam's history of ups and downs. Music, applause, leadership. For a new audience, the letter was sent to the phone. We were present at the center of Hue City. Dear friends, when visiting Hue City, we never have any associations with very ancient